You take this iceberg, and above the water line, as far as an image we want to work with, is the content that you're working on, the subject matter, the meat of the issue, your topic. This is up in this area. This is the what. Now, why everyone is here is why there's great interest in resolving what's came to focus on process, or if you're from Canada and want to sound international, you say process, right? And this deals with the how. This deals with the how, and the issue is to be clear on, are we dealing above the water line or below the water line? Because it's insidious, the trap that we get into of being above the water line when we need to be below the water line, or vice versa. So what we're going to do today and tomorrow is work below the water line when we're up in front of the group. And when we're a participant, we're going to be above the water line and let the person below the water line lead the session. So we're not going to have 8 leaders around the table. We're going to have 7 participants and 1 leader of the group who's below the water line. They're facilitating it. Now, this gets to be real interesting, because haven't we all been in a meeting of some type where the person who is frequently senior, the boss, does most of the talking, leads the subject, has the most knowledge, and has most of the ideas. And frequently, you wonder, why am I here? Other than maybe to make a presence. Because what's happening is they're trapped up here and not watching the group. When we're called in as a company to help an organization, it's strictly down here. They have 15 people. They may have 200 years worth of above the waterline knowledge. They need the process to help them deal with their own content and knowledge. So this is where we're going to be working. Now, I don't want anybody leaving here saying, well, you have to be neutral to lead a session. You need to understand the waterline, because there are topics where you are fully neutral and not in it at all on the content level. And there are times when you are fully engaged in content, but you still want somebody paying attention to the process. And there's a spectrum. And the important thing is to know where you are on the spectrum. When we meet as the McNellis Company team, we're down over here. But somebody's always watching the process. And it's normally, guess who it isn't? Me. Guess who? Diane principally facilitates our group, because she's the drill master. We have to do this, That's Diane. I mean, she's a nursing manager. You ever had a nurse come in and say, what do you think? Would you kind of like to go have a bath now? Or what do you think? Why don't we have a little meeting here to see if you want to have a shot? Roll up your sleeve. We're going to give it to you. Isn't that that mindset? She makes a great facilitator for our team. What we need to do is understand this spectrum. And today, the first time out, we're going to ask you, be totally up here. Which for some of you will be very difficult because you're thoroughly invested in your topic. We're on page 66 in the blueprint, and you see the different roles in facilitating and leading through the master model. You've been doing the designing. From now on, you're going to do the rest of these roles, down to task master and being a communicator and a reflector and guided, and So the different roles. At times, you are very much an orchestra leader, getting people out, protecting the piccolo, so the cellist can come in, but you don't want the drums burying both of them. The cellist or the piccolo player could be the shy person in the group, while the real robust person, you got to be careful so that they don't overpower them. Now, how many of you have had Myers-Briggs? Been through it? Most of you in the room? For those of you who have, how many of you are introverts? Okay? Now that doesn't mean shy people. That means how we process information. Like yesterday, at the end of the day, I was spent. Not just physically and emotionally and intellectually and everything. I went back to my room and just had to be alone. Now, I have a son, Mark, who at the end of a day like that, he would want to go out and be with everybody because Jay's that way. People pump energy into him. He's always pumping and dealing with energy. At the end of the day, Pat and I are that way. We withdraw. But you know what happens with introverts in groups if somebody comes down on them too heavy? Who said it? They shut down. And that's who you facilitate for, is watching the introverts. A lot of the best facilitators, in my opinion, are introverts because they're really deep listeners to the group.